Hello and welcome back to the channel, and thank you for joining me in another of my monologues. We're very much in a world in which we have been separated, haven't we? We've found ourselves separated from each other by how we think. We saw that, I think, in Brexit very heavily, in which if you had one particular opinion and you didn't follow what was, let's say, perceived as the mainstream opinion, you were thought to be stupid because you had different beliefs from other people, different ideas. During the COVID period, the lockdowns, and then the vaccination, this isolation of people, this putting people into different camps grew. It's same with the man-made global warming concept that's been foisted on us, that if you didn't believe what the majority of people were led to believe and held as gospel, you were seen to be in some way stupid, dim, ignorant, unable to function properly. And we've seen various attempts to continue that isolation, that divide and conquer, have we not? With people in all sorts of, whether it's race, colour, creed, sexuality, gender, the whole thing. We've seen that darker forces have been manipulating people's thoughts very easily, very cleverly, using mainstream media, using television, newspapers, columns, and of course the social media and alternative media like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and all of that to keep people at each other's throats, rather than to join people together and understand that they have differences of opinion on certain subjects, but not everything. We can all agree that we probably all need to have fresh air. We can disagree that some people prefer to smoke occasionally, and they can do that respectfully away from everybody else. We can agree that we need to have healthy food for our bodies, but we can agreeably disagree that healthy food might come from farm shops, maybe organic, or whether it comes from a supermarket. We can disagree but still be friends, even though we have different opinions. We can look up in the sky and claim that the aeroplanes are leaving trails in the sky which are full of chemicals for various purposes, whether that's to control the weather, to reflect the sun, or to poison the crops. We can look up and say that's what it is, it's a chemtrail, and others will say no, it's just a contrail. And in theory, we ought to be able to sort of go, okay, well, that's your opinion, fair enough. You know, you don't have to believe me, but you can still be friends. Difficult now to have people look up and say it's still a contrail when the government are claiming that they are actually going to use chemtrails to dim the sky, and they're actually announcing it. So again, yesterday's controversy is, or conspiracy even, is today's fact. But it doesn't matter. We, as beings, whatever we are, human beings or spiritual beings, however you see yourselves, we ought to be able to have differences of opinion and go, okay, but have a beer together in the evening, kick our shoes off, relax, and have a laugh at those things that we do find mutually pleasurable. But we've seen that that's not really the case, because behind the scenes, manipulation is going on to make us if we disagree with one thing, oh, I think man-made climate change is a myth. Oh, well, you're an idiot. Everything that you stand for, you're an idiot, and therefore you're being ridiculed and pushed aside. This is the game that the dark forces, as I call them, the parasites, those that shouldn't be in power, that's the game they play, because what they want us all the time to do is to be at each other's throats and not look to them. More and more people have realised this, of course, and more people are beginning to say, look, none of us are perfect. We all have differences of opinions, but actually you make me laugh occasionally, or I'm impressed how you do such and such, or I enjoy your company, or please could you show me how to do so and so. We're beginning to realise that actually that we, the people who are sort of living our lives and are being put down upon and being divided and conquered by these so-called elites in their billionaire houses and the control they have, we're beginning to realise that more than anything, which is good. Some people can even tolerate people like me who claim that the nicotine in tobacco is good for them. They can even tolerate watching me sit here and enjoy something that gives me pleasure, smoking my pipe. Some people cannot even tolerate that. And I've had emails from people saying, I can't bear watching you smoking your pipe. I can't wait for you to pause when you light the pipe. I cannot cope with that small amount of time, and so therefore I'm off. Even though I agree in basic principle with everything that you say, it's that one thing. It is amazing. Yesterday, the lovely Julia and I were invited out for a social evening, a meal with some friends, which we went to. People from all sorts of walks of life. There was about 12 of us here at the event. I didn't have to get up and give a talk. Wasn't talking to a crowd. Everybody was relaxed. There was wine if you wanted it, cups of tea if you prefer, which actually is what we had because I had to drive. We could go out and smoke if we needed to. Nobody cared. It was a very relaxing evening. It was a beautiful meal that was provided. And there was conversation. We even had a little silly game at the end, you know, like a little board game, but it wasn't a board game, it was a drawing game. And it was fun. And what I really wanted to say in today's video is we need these little social things where we're not talking about politics. We're not gathering together because we're necessarily trying to sort of find who was vaccinated and who wasn't vaccinated, who's a pure blood, who's not a pure blood, that you're on one side of one particular story or not, or you believe this or believe that. These were just basically generally ordinary people who were aware, that's true, of what's going on in the world, but who could tolerate each other's foibles, if you like. And this is something that seems to be missing, that we can't tolerate as a whole other people. People are becoming impatient when they're driving. So many people are impatient that they need to get there 2 or 3 seconds earlier, and that somebody hasn't gone at the roundabout quick enough. And we all find ourselves frustrated in traffic jams, of course, but we've become intolerant on so many levels to each other. And as a result, we've found ourselves quite isolated in this world where we don't know our neighbours anymore. We don't mention whether we believe that the vaccines were not a sensible thing. We can't mention whether we've been scammed by something. Some idiot on the phone has managed to persuade us to buy something that was a load of rubbish. We don't have that many people that we can talk to anymore. And so the message, I suppose, that I'm trying to allude to in this video is that we do need to start putting aside our differences, start meeting together, not for any political movement thing, not to protest on anything. Yes, we can do all of those things, but just to meet with ordinary people, frequent pubs and have ordinary conversations again. They may go into areas where it's a bit cagey or dodgy, but we do need to be able to tolerate one another's differences, because the wonderful thing about life, the beauty that life presents us is, and they say it, don't they, on the other side, that diversity is everything, is that life is diverse, that we can have diversity of thought, but not only be diverse, but we can tolerate one another. Unless somebody, of course, gets out of line and is pushing something down your throat. It's give and take. It's love thy neighbour. It's do no harm. It's be kind. All those things. And where they want to divide and conquer us and keep us stumm and unable and self-censoring rather, that's where we give over all our power. So if we're able to tolerate things in a social situation where perhaps they might be talking about something that we feel uncomfortable, we can listen, we can take their point of view, we don't have to agree with them, but we don't have to get cross. And if somebody is smoking a pipe on a video and you just can't bear it, remember, the choice is yours. You don't have to watch. If you're one of these haters who can't bear to hear new ideas or strange ideas put to you, you don't have to watch. You don't have to write snide comments. You don't have to be mean and nasty, crude or rude. You don't have to be those things. But if you are those things and you do choose those things, then it's more a reflection of you than a reflection of the thing that you can't tolerate. Anyway, we had a lovely time. It was nice to let your hair down, talk about all sorts of different things, and we need to get back to that sense of freedom of being able to be open, listen, contribute, and walk away, even if we disagree, as friends. Thank you for watching.